Hi guys, so today we're going to be doing the Kulakumba redesign, which is kind of an ancient African mythology of a kind of hybrid malformed ape-chimp creature. So I originally designed a version of this last year, but it didn't come out exactly as I wanted, didn't go through a full design process for it. So I'm trying to do it again, but with a refined brief that fits in with the larger world I've been brainstorming. So that is a dark fantasy intellectual property called Nyami Nyami. It's kind of dark African world building. So I'm slowly going to release the lore and art for that. But this video will be showcasing the overall design process for the refined sketches. It will show application of references, various thumbnailing methods, using silhouette and line, and also some tips on line weight and clarity. It can be helpful to use pure shape language to identify arrangements you find pleasing, and also to help communicate the design efficiently. I don't use these to directly progress to the next stage, but rather to rapidly outpour ideas with the intention to fail faster. Through this, I am digesting the shape language of the reference I am exploring visually on the page, using thin and thick lines with the hard brush to find interesting shape arrangements based on my references. It is good to have targets that distill your brief and allow you to objectively measure if your design matches the request. For my design to be successful, it needs to fulfill these parameters. It needs to be a malformed hybrid ape-human with a feral kind of atmosphere to it. It must have chieftain-like adornments in terms of costuming, with a gold crown and jewellery. In addition to the clothing, it should be tribal, African tribal, containing materials such as furs, leathers, horns and tusks. Additionally, it must have an axe-like weapon used in the world by a Shaitani Reaper, so those will have elements of death and bones and bird-like features. Additionally, it needs to have a decaying and sunburned, additionally a mangled look to the body, creating a level of asymmetry, and part of the body will be covered by ceremonial wrapping. It'll have a massive axe wound, something to indicate a cause of death. So it's a ceremonial, deformed ape warlord risen from the death. Now, it is very helpful to shortlist your reference for each design. You should have keywords that direct your sketching, and you need to prepare, otherwise you're preparing to fail. Every step of the process is designing. Adding or removing an image changes the overall outcome. Identify the key visual elements that support your direction when selecting an image. Think to yourself, oh, I like those parts. They work together, or that contrasts nicely. Gives off a very specific vibe, or this is a very nice direction. So you need to be thinking critically when selecting the references that you want to use. The original design for this creature was roughly sketched on a template beforehand. It has the overall energy and vibe that I'm looking for. I really like the pose, and I believe it communicates the brief very well. And this is it on the screen right now. So I'll go over that and refine it, including the references that I've found. Outlining and filling the design with white very much aids with clarity and ease of readability. There's kind of two methods for that. One is you can do it manually, or you can use a layer with the stroke adjustment added to it. These also help to separate the major forms and shapes. Once happy with the designs that you have created, it's a good idea to select around about 3 that fulfill the brief the most. Now, it's not necessarily the ones that you like the most, because I like the Witch Doctor one on the bottom left, however, it did not fit the brief. However, I will later on pull parts of it out to inform my design sketching going forward in terms of costuming and atmosphere. I also go in with cleaner lines in this second pass. So for me, I like to work on the same copied layer with everything merged down. That allows me, in my own way, to retain the energy of the original sketch. Here, I look at the wider reference board, narrowing in on specific areas that I feel can inform maybe the texture, detail, or shape language that I want to hone in on. I find that creating red or blue sketches over the top of my design aids with clarity and helps me to have a sense of free-form designing without feeling committed to a certain direction. The symmetry tool aids in the design process and allows a certain flow to develop while sketching. Unfortunately, I did not record moving into the refined sketch from the blue lines. However, I simply just turned it black using a black and white adjustment layer. Alternatively, you can paint over in black by selecting the line work with shift-clicking on the layer image. However, the adjustment layer works fantastically as you can control the different color channels in terms of their value to pull it straight to black, or even a bit before if you prefer. Design language wise, I'm trying to pull as much as possible from 1 to 3 images to retain cohesion across the design. I'm looking at very specific areas such as the gold mask, necklace, wristband and hanging bell ornaments on the image on the left to inform my overall design language. Based on the brief and the lore I have set out for this creature, the weapon is semi-incongruent to the rest of the costuming. It is found in the ape after death, and he yanks it out to use as a weapon. It is roughly Deathbird themed, vulturesque in design language, to reflect the nature of the Shitani Reapers in this world. Here I have identified areas to change, referring back to the principles of design. I noticed I need more areas of rest, some larger shapes as well, to reinforce the big, medium, small hierarchy. I tend to get bogged down in details, making lots of small, cluttered areas. Over time, you will identify your design tendencies and place fail-safes in your process to counteract them. It can be very helpful to black out your silhouette to view the whole without distraction. Additionally, it aids the red line sketch and design node process by reducing visual noise and clutter. This also detaches you from feeling precious about your sketch. To implement, I mask out the lines beneath, blacking out the red line, merging and then redrawing and integrating on the same layer. When working with zero pressure sensitivity brushes, it can be helpful to work from thin to thick in passes to build up the visual hierarchy of lines and shapes. I really like the idea of wrapping ropes, padlocks and ceremonial hair or weaving that serve as both armor and coverage for the scarring and deformity of the creature. These design decisions are multi-purpose, serving as interesting shapes while reinforcing the brief and lore of the creature. Here I am finding a way to utilize the mangled stub, exposed bone, and asymmetry to include a gameplay element that supports the world building, adding a chained idol to the broken limb. This suggests a sense of worship or imprisonment and a flail-like weapon. It projects, in my terms, a sense of flagellation or self-penance. Having a second tone over the white tone helps me to separate out main shapes. It is a good idea to have a rule set for this, such as white for the skin and furs and grey for the armour, leather and weaving. This ensures a level of consistency across your presentation. Once again, I am outlining areas to improve visual clarity. It is a good idea to zoom out to see if it reads well. If not, you need to find a way to reinforce this or rework the design. Now I am back to working on the original sketch, taking what I have learnt from the previous explorations and the information I have digested by applying the references to inform my design decisions going forward. I really like the visceral asymmetry and the sense of crushing a human with their hand-like ape feet appendages. It gives a sense of sadistic manipulation and primal strength. The ripped-off jaw, ceremonially wrapped stumps, slump posture, and axe wound in the back. These all add to this atmosphere I am creating. The opulent jewelry and warlike headdress tie in nicely to the risen chieftain aesthetic. I am trying to place coherent visual clues around the design to support the overall brief and mood. Once I have finished this design, I might do an overview of the whole entire process, showing off my referencing document, brief creation, lore, and the other stages. If this is something you are interested in, please let me know in the comments below. For efficiency's sake, using a stroke layer speeds up the matting or grey wash process. Additionally, I like to do a final red note pass to fix problem areas of the design without having to redo them. I will pick one and then apply these changes in the next stage. There's no point spending time on ones that will not be picked. It is important to check your proportions at this stage and also whether you're hitting your brief points and design targets. And by proportions, I mean your big, medium, small. Coming up, I'm going to show you the initial template sketches as well as the final designs and furthermore the preliminary anatomical applied studies. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to check the description below for links to my social media and ArtStation if you want to see more. Also, if you'd like to vote in polls at different design stages, please follow me on Instagram. I hope you have a good one. Thank you for watching.